Rab got kidnapped in Haiti, and it's starting to look bad. When I saw the situation, I think it was during the pod, and I just seen the streamer got kidnapped and is in ransom for $600,000. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What is going on? But
what do you get when an IRL streamer goes to a war-torn country that is third world and filled with nothing but gangs and violence and guns and all these other things? You get somebody being kidnapped. So YouTuber, your fellow Arab, who started off as a Fortnite streamer, being really competitive in the space, becoming one of the best and even going on to coach people, had to make a content pivot shift when things were going bad in that space and the death of Fortnite, or just the transition from that type of content to something a little bit different, which ultimately became IRL videos, vlog style videos, content where he came up out of his chair and had to go out into the real world. But what we talk about a lot on this channel is that when you go down the paths of being an IRL content creator and then turning into an IRL streamer, you get certain stigmas behind you because you fall into this trap of having to one-up yourselves again and again and again. And that will hold no different for YouTuber, your fellow Arab, as he started to do different things that were probably borderline cringy or edgy, but then that led him down this path of, traveling to different countries, different continents, and dealing with people who were a part of the world's underbelly. It all started.
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I am very, very careful. You know what's crazy? I know I got 5 channels, but I am very, very careful with what type of content I want to make. I always think big picture, bro. I always think big picture because I know the cycle. Once you get a 1 out of 10, how do you one up that last video in the next one so we can continue to snowball? And depending on what that small snowball is for you, bro, you do not want to go down that rabbit hole. That's why I'm never gonna do pranks. I'm never gonna do IRL streaming in the capacity that Neon, and Sneeko and Jack Doherty are doing that shit. If I'm doing IRL streaming, it's gonna be on some PG shit, for real, or it's gonna be us hooping. I'm never gonna be an IRL streamer that just goes out in public and causes havoc just cause people are here to watch essentially live reality TV. If you really think about it, that's the appeal of kick streaming to folks, bro. It is a live stream messy reality TV show. That's all it is. And I don't want to manage a one-man army reality TV show. That does not sound fun.
Started out when he started to do these spending a day with or living 24 hours with people with various cultural backgrounds.
And before we go, I know Martina just said Jadion was the only good prank type of streamer / YouTuber, but even Jadion himself said the reason why he quit the prank shit was because it got to him. It got to him. He got lost in the sauce. He got motherfuckers fired from their job. Innocent people fired from their job because why? Yeah, you needed that next 1 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even just in the prank niche, bro. I always say, with Mr. Beast, right? The standard is so high for Mr. Beast because his whole thing is extreme videos that he cannot just hand out $5,000 to a random person and boom. And so that's gonna be a 10 out of 10 video if he uploaded a video. I gave out $5,000 to a random person. That's light for Mr. Beast. But because he put himself in that snowball rabbit hole of, I gotta one up the next, I gotta be more extreme, all of that. Now you get, and I think it's a good problem and he's done it as ethical as he can. Now I gotta cure blindness for a 1 out of 10. Now I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Cure world hunger for a 1 out of 10. I don't want to go down that path. Long story short.
Which is very commendable. He was educating himself as to how other people lived in all these other worlds, becoming more enlightened and becoming more world-renowned and, a Renaissance man. Very knowledgeable person. But then that started having him hang out with people that were in, the Mexican cartel,
I'm saying,
and some Somali pirates, and some gang members, living in various different slums, hanging out with terrorists, being in the Middle East, hanging with different people to learn their cultural identities and backgrounds is not a bad thing. It lets you know about different people's experiences, cognizant of their situations, and the things that they live with on a day-to-day basis, especially coming from a country like America where we seem to be so individualistic and don't really have empathy for people outside of this country. It is good to see those perspectives. But what he very much so underestimated is how dangerous and harmful these countries can be. So then we start getting the reports that flood in from people like Keemstar and other media outlets. Arab was kidnapped in Haiti. He's been missing for 2 weeks. And sometimes people like Keemstar like to troll and stuff like that, even though they seem to have a close relationship. But as the details started to pour out, it became quite clear that this time him getting close to these different people was a huge mistake. YouTuber Your Fellow Arab has allegedly been kidnapped by a gang in Haiti and is being held for ransom. He was planning on interviewing gang lord Babaraku, and the reported ransom figure is $600,000. Arab and I had exchanged messages in the past way before this incident, and he came across as a genuinely kind-hearted guy or good person, sending prayers in hopes he comes out of this safely. Now,
Bro, I'm not doing anything like that without full-on security and like contracts in place before I fucking land, bro. I'm not doing that shit. Hell no. If it's on some just, yo, fly over, I can get you this interview with this gang lord, I'll cover your flight. And you're like, I bet. I'll be there in 48 hours. Bro, fuck that. What are we doing? What you also, I just want to mention, NBA Addict says you can say that, but you're on the other end, you are limiting your creativity. I agree. I think it's a balancing act. It is a balancing act. I think we talked about it for the pod. Like, I think reflecting on the last 3 to 4 months of the pod, like, we have become relatively stagnant and we haven't been punting and being as creative as we can on the pod. So that is something that's holding us back. That is something that we're working on. But you just don't want to get in that mindset too much. You just got to find that balancing act, because on one end, you can get down that crazy rabbit hole. On the other end, you can be stagnant as shit and just never grow. So you just got to find that middle ground. But
I would like to think that Arab had great intentions for what he was doing. I've even seen some of his other videos, and he does seem like a genuine guy. However, in the back of my mind, I think again this has to be a dumb move every single time he did it. And of course, he came out alive or unscathed in a lot of these situations. But to test your luck like that time and time again could not be the best way to play the hands that you're dealt with. They even have a picture of the guy right here, Lanmo Sanjo, who they're saying is the person in Haiti who has captured him. This guy is wanted by the FBI in the United States because apparently he is so organized and does so many mass kidnappings that it is ridiculous. Like last year, Haiti reported 3,000 kidnappings, and this guy is supposedly over the top of the kidnapping sex work conglomerate that is going on in Haiti right now. And we even have a video of the guy that he was supposed to be interviewing down in Haiti to get an understanding as to what's going on in that country.
He's not responsible for all the violence sweeping across Haiti's capital, but be under no doubt he's at the centre of it. His fighters are never far away.
Is this now all your territory? Because it was an open road.
I'm good off that. Hey, listen, I'm good off that, bro.
When I was last here.
Yeah. Motherfuckers walking around with AKs,
Jimmy Charizia, universally referred to here as Barbecue, is the head of one of the most powerful gangs in Port-au-Prince. But he's also the head of a gang consortium that's brought Haiti to its knees. He took us through the roadblocks of buses they've put in place to stop police raids on his territory. That territory now extends over one of the city's main roads, an economic highway he controls in its entirety. Barbecue sees himself as a revolutionary for the people, and he rails against...
That's aura right there, chat. Where the LeBron jerseys at?
...corrupt politicians and oligarchs.
So based off of my research, it seems that Haiti is just a completely war-torn country and is in like dire straits right now. After a couple of attempts and, you know, natural disasters and stuff like that, they put a leader into place, but that leader was assassinated a couple years ago, and ever since then, things have gone totally downhill for the country. And it is left to being a bunch of gang territories who are controlled by this guy, Barbecue. And so you would think that even though he's done interviews before with other people, that this would not be a place that Your Fellow Arab would go to. But that's not the case. He saw this this is a place that needed to be seen, needed to be heard from, which I can commend a little bit. But
yo,
still,
shout out to Cobra for the gift,
you have
man.
to say that you're pressing your luck again. And as we look at the last known images of him being on camera before he was kidnapped, you got to think that he could have moved just a little bit smarter in a lot of these instances.
So we actually cannot leave to Port-au-Prince until the morning because it's already 6 p.m. and if we leave right now, we'll get there while it's dark. It's about a 6-hour road trip. We'll get there while it's dark, and that place is completely run by gangs. So you don't want to be dealing with the gangs, even though we have safe passage, we're already approved. All it takes is one stupid gang member holding an AK-47 for one thing to go wrong. So we're not taking that risk at night. We're going to be leaving at 3 in the morning. I just really wanted to show you guys the view from this hotel.
So it's interesting that he even himself acknowledges this is a very, very, very dangerous place to be living. This is a dangerous...
I think this is a case of two things can be true at once. Number one, I do think he needs to be held accountable for putting himself in dumb situations. Stop putting yourself in dumb situations. How about that? Number one. But number two, and I'm not saying Omar is victim blaming, but fucked up things happening to innocent people should not be just, the default response should not just be, but you shouldn't have been there. You should have been guarded up. You should, like, no, bro, I'm in here. I'm an innocent person. Something fucked up happened to me. And it's fucked up. Like, at the end of the day. So I just don't get the people that don't have sympathy for situations like this and other situations like this just because they put themselves in, like, bro. Same thing with the annoying situation. Like a couple months back. Like I get it, yo, annoying, yo, bro. You should have, you know what I'm saying? You should have got harder security. You should have got tougher security. You know what I'm saying? You should have moved differently in that situation. But at the end of the day, something that should not happen to you still happened to you. So I have sympathy for you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's it. I do want to, I don't know if Omar tackled it in this video. He might have not even got kidnapped. That's really what I want to know. Because I've seen some of those tweets. I don't know if they're completely true. But he might have not even got kidnapped in the first place.
Dangerous place to be visiting. Nobody's coming in, nobody's coming out, just because of how
I'm about to
corrupt
start,
and
don't
war-torn
worry.
this country is
What?
right now.
We're the only people in this entire hotel.
Why would he say
Everybody
that?
else is workers, employees, etc. Because no one's allowed into the fucking country. So there's no tourists here, okay, other than those Royal Caribbean guys. But I have the entire hotel to myself. Look at that view, man. You got the mountain range. You got the sun setting. Okay, you have entire Cap Haitian over here. And we've got a pool, which I wasn't going to take advantage of, but how many times in your life are you the only person in an entire hotel because the country's completely shut down, no one should be coming in, and you're just a YouTuber?
I think you acknowledging that multiple times in the video signifies how dumb you are. You continuing to say that time and time again, letting people know that, hey, I am rolling a certain way. I am being paraded around the city in a certain type of way. Now, he does go around with some sort of security. He does have some of these things, but none of the parameters that he has set in place.
I will say, I think the differentiating factor with this situation than the annoying situation is you literally went to this country to meet with criminals. To meet with gang members. I think that's the complete difference. Like, annoying was going to like a Drake concert, or, like, you know what I'm saying? I think he was either going to a Drake concert or coming home from a Drake concert, and some fucked up shit happened to him. Could he have been smarter? Absolutely. But I think in this case right here, it's on some, all right, bruh. I have less sympathy in this regard than, like, the other situation. But my point still stands, though. My point still stands. Crazy pause, too. Crazy pause.
Ultimately prevented these situations from happening. And it seems that social media took wind to this and they started commenting on it, and people seem to be a little torn on the ways that they reacted to this. He has some friends on the internet, his editor and stuff, that have commented. This is from Laylim, a friend of his. Tried keeping it private for 2 weeks, but is getting out everywhere. Yes, Arab has been kidnapped in Haiti and we're working on getting him out. Love y'all. He'll be out soon. And even a good friend of his and a good friend of ours on the show, Sneeko, had some commentary about him being kidnapped as well.
Arab has been kidnapped in Haiti. He's been kidnapped for 15 days. Your fellow Arab, the YouTuber, our good friend, and Love Speech member. So free Arab and prayers for Arab.
I'm always dying to know what Sneako thinks at times like this. Like, I always look forward to what he has to say at times like this, especially when his good friends are in dire situations.
Arab's been kidnapped for 15 days. I just saw an article. Yeah. I know. Random announcement, I know.
God, hard-hitting investigative journalism from Sneako. Just, you gotta love it. You got to. And of course, XQC and Aiden Ross had to say some things about it.
This is the last footage of Arab uploaded before he got kidnapped.
Click on chat, okay, so we can set some time, so I can read it.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I like reading chat.
Let's see. Lico linked it. Let's see what Lico.
But their reaction wasn't even the thing that got me most concerned. It was the comments that were in the comment section that were kind of against Arab. Bartholomew Jenkins says, hey, I'm a rich YouTuber in a shithole country and I'm all alone in my hotel. Come and kidnap me. Tybino says, traveling to a third world country during war and gets kidnapped. No way. Who Man Plays says, this is what happens when you think you're a main character. Now, I'm not condoning of your Arab getting kidnapped at all. I think it's kind of disgusting. It's harmful. I hope he gets out of this situation safe. But I've got to agree with them to a certain extent. Sure, we could say that he's doing some great...
Look, see, me and Omar came to the same conclusion. He just took the left foot forward, then the right. I took the right foot forward, then the left. You know what I'm saying? We all come to the same conclusion.
Or some even good by shedding light on some of these situations in which people don't know how or what happened to these countries and how they got there. Because this is unfiltered and real investigative journalism. He is sitting down with these people. However, with that being said, you have to do your due diligence and make smarter decisions. One, a lot of people rely on you. And two, these people don't feel the most positive way about outsiders from other countries. Especially if you're American, they don't feel positively
It's
about
still
you
dumb.
all the
It's still,
time.
I mean,
And while it
I'm
would
not
seem
justifying
so
it.
hunky-dory and pessimistic to think that you could go to these different parts of the country and live your life and everything would be just say la vie, that's just not the case in a lot of these countries. There was a travel vlog couple who had went to India and they were walking around the streets where they had gotten beaten up. The woman in the situation had gotten gang raped. And then they had went to the hospital to treat their injuries and their wounds and to report the situation like people would think that they do in a regular country. And even in that situation, they had gotten beat up and raped again at the hospital. There was also another CNN reporter from London who had went to India and had experienced her own forms of trauma and sexual harassment.
Doing a live report. And the minute that the light went out, suddenly
Crazy echo
I
chat.
was groped, I was grabbed, my clothes were torn. I literally had to fight to get out
Jesus
of that
Christ.
group. And so let's go ahead and look at this tape so that you can see what I'm talking about. This was live on television. Barely. I gotta get out of here, guys. So tell me, yes.
Tell her why should we are there.
Yo, what the fuck?
The dangers of going to these
Yo!
other countries, especially for somebody who's not totally familiar with the surroundings or does not look like somebody from these countries already, are overwhelming and they're undeniable, to be quite honest with you. If I were a lot of people, especially during this
That's
political
crazy.
climate, this economic climate and things like that, I wouldn't be looking to travel to any sort of countries like this that aren't developed to the extent of like the US or some of the European countries. We can see in plenty of examples like ones that I showed or Brittany Griner that as an outsider you will be totally treated differently than if you were an insider in the country.
You just gotta know where you go. You just gotta know where you go, because I wouldn't consider the Philippines as developed as the U.S., but you just gotta know where you're going. Now, easier said than done as a person traveling to that country, but yeah, do not go to the hood in the Philippines. Yeah, you will get shot. You will get beat with chinelases, okay? And hot dogs. I don't know, bro.
Country, or if you were somebody that looked like a familiar face. And because they don't have the same laws, rules, and
Your mic is
regulations that
crispy.
govern
Thank you,
us
man.
as American people, you've got to be extremely careful.
I work hard on this
I would
one.
like to say that, hey, what he does, your fellow Arab, as a content creator is very necessary for a lot of people. But if it means risking life and limb, then I don't know if I would implore him to continue down these paths. I hope he does get out, and I hope some of his streamer friends or whoever can help pitch in, because it looks like
Hey, Black, I don't even know why I said hot dog, bro. Getting beat with a Frank is crazy. It was just the first thing on my mind. No Diddy. Getting beat with a... Imagine a Filipino man running you down with a fucking hot dog in his hand trying to beat you with it, bro. Oh my God. Yo.
Like this guy had struck lightning in a bottle with being able to reinvent himself in the content creation space, which is very hard to do. I hope nothing but good luck and good wishes to him. Prayers up to your fellow Arab, for real, for real. So I was late putting this video out because I had some editing issues, but I'm glad I waited because we have some breaking news. It seems that your fellow Arab has been released from his captivity. And of course he had to take to Twitter to let everyone know who was concerned about him and his well-being that he was now released. He says, I was kidnapped purely for the color of my skin. I was kidnapped for being a blanc. And when we do a Google translate of that word, blanc of course means white. Can't give any more details till I'm home, but all I will say for now is glory be to God, released between Good Friday and Easter. Christ is King. When you're kidnapped in the middle of the Haitian desert, 60 minutes away from any civilization, in a concrete shack surrounded by barbed wire, you don't pray to a rainbow flag, you pray to God. Now,
what kind of shaboing boing is that? That's crazy shaboing. Bro, you just got kidnapped for like 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. My first tweet would not be trying to push anti-LGBTQ agendas, bro. My first tweet would be, I'm safe. Thanks for all the well wishes. And I would just leave it at that. That's crazy. That's crazy shaboing right there, bro. That's crazy shaboing.
Would like to say, of course, that it is great that he was able to be freed, specifically on Easter, weekend and Good Friday and all that stuff. But the unnecessary jab at the LGBTQ community just showed us that he's an asshole at the end of the day. I did get some more backstory on the guy, and it seems like he's not the best person in the world. But what did I expect from an IRL streamer? Especially he's going on Twitter saying the N-word, and he's clearly a white man. Listen, I think that there is a lesson in all of this stuff. Don't go to any countries if you don't know the climate, even if you're doing it for investigative journalism reasons. But what do I know in all this?
You know what's crazy, bro? Kick has done irreparable damage to the word IRL streaming. Like, IRL streaming is not one of these things that should be like it's like hearing someone does Forex now, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's like hearing someone doing NFTs now, bro. It's like someone doing a pyramid scheme. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. It's live streaming with a real camera is now associated with this toxic ass community, bro. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. But yeah, shout out to Big O for the video, man. Appreciate you.